Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Threes In. Bobo here. So last weekend, I posted a presentation that I had made from a piece that Colonel John Morrissey had provided to me. And I really screwed it up. And I took it down after talking with Colonel Morrissey. Took it down right away. I was somewhat embarrassed by it, and I apologize. So I want to take this opportunity here this morning to retransmit, if you will, and to make it right, hopefully, and do honor to what he had given me. I appreciate it when people send things to me to share with you, and it deeply troubles me if I screw it up. So hopefully I can maybe say a little prayer and we'll get with it here. This presentation is about a mission flown on the 27th of July, 1965, from a pair of bases in Thailand, Takli and Korat, by F-105 squadrons. The operation was called Operation Spring High. Now I'm going to include a link to an animated presentation on Operation Spring High in the narrative leading up to this video, so you can kind of get a real good sense of that mission from that animation. It's one of the best presentations I've seen in this vein. Okay, so I want to take a moment here to give you a little bit of context to what Colonel Morrissey provided for me, and then we'll go on from there. My pages right here. In March 1965, President Johnson was intent on stopping the North Vietnamese from putting its full military weight into the invasion of South Vietnam. Therefore, he authorized a campaign called Rolling Thunder. Now, what was interesting about this campaign, as Colonel Morrissey pointed out to me, was it was entitled or called Rolling Thunder, and it used Thunder Chiefs, Thuds. And I thought that was pretty cool in itself, myself. So Colonel Johnson, along with his whiz kids there in Washington, decided to set some restrictions in their ROE. First, they had a 10-mile radius around Hanoi, which was strictly off limits to American air power. And then they had a 30-mile ring around Hanoi that was totally under White House control. And only President Johnson and the whiz kids had the authority to order air operations within that area. On July 24th, 1965, 4 F-4 Phantoms attacked a munitions storage area at Dien Bien Phu. That's the Dien Bien Phu munitions storage depot, and the Lang Chi munitions factory west of Hanoi. The Phantoms dropped their ordnance and withdrew to provide MiG suppression for the F-105 fighter bombers that were following them. One of those F-105s was piloted by Captain Vic Viscara of the 80th TAC Fighter Squadron. As we started climbing out of the area, and after our single pass at the target, our mission commander informed the Phantoms that we were departing. We all remained on the same frequency as we climbed out and headed south. Suddenly we heard a call from the F-4s. "What the hell was that?" one of them said. Leopard Lead had called for his Phantom flight to check in. Leopard 3 and 4 responded, but 2 was never heard from again, having been blotted out of the sky by a surface-to-air missile, an SA-2. The blast also damaged the other 3 Phantoms in the flight. They were the first victims in Vietnam of the soon-to-be infamous SA-2. Secretary of Defense McNamara was anxious to avoid escalating the war by provoking Soviet and Chinese involvement. He convinced Johnson that caution was the key to keeping the war under control. However, McNamara's forte was strategy, not tactics, and his advice ignored the grim realities of modern warfare. So the United States proceeded cautiously at this time, and they had a list of targets that could not be hit, like the docks at Haiphong Harbor, MiG bases, and SAM batteries. In April, 5 SAM sites had been discovered under the construction within the restricted zone. This was just a month after initiating Rolling Thunder and came as a great shock to the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Pentagon. They were adamant that these sites be destroyed before they could be completed, but McNamara convinced the president to keep them off limits. In another video presentation on YouTube, I saw one of these, a Thud pilot explain this at this juncture was a war of signals. We were sending signals to the North Vietnamese, they were sending signals to us, and they were ignoring everything else. He said, our signal was, we know that you have SAM sites down there. We're going to allow you to build them as long as you choose not to use them. Real brilliant. Anyway, so they were adamant that sites, the Joint Chiefs were adamant that the sites be destroyed before they could be completed. But McNamara convinced the pilot to keep them off limits. 3 times between May and July, the Joint Chiefs asked the White House to allow the Air Force and Navy to bomb the sites, and they were turned down each time. After the loss of the F-4C on 24 July, the Joint Chiefs again urged Johnson to authorize an airstrike against all known SA-2 positions, which had been discovered outside the 30-mile exclusion zone as well. This was no small matter because up until then, the Phantoms and Thuds could pretty well stay above the AAA and AAA fire. But once the SAMs came into play, no, they weren't that safe anymore. At last, the Pentagon prevailed, and President Johnson gave the order, take them out. The mission was assigned to tactical fighter squadrons based in Thailand at Korat and Tak Lee. So that's kind of the setting that we have here for Colonel Morrissey's piece. And the mission of Spring High was on 27 July 1965, and Colonel Morrissey offers a remembrance. Health, wealth, youth, and fame bloom and fade, but honor lasts forever. 27 July 1965, 1359, south of the confluence to the Red and Black Rivers, 30 miles southwest of Hanoi. Hot, humid, hazy, calm, and disarmingly quiet. But not for long. 46 F-105s loaded with wall-to-wall CBU and napalm inbound at 600 knots or more, at 100 feet or less, for the world's first attack on a Russian surface-to-air missile site. 46 men with hearts of steel and 46 silver steeds of 10 flew well and true. Onward into a trap. The missiles were foam poles painted white, all approaches to the target lined with Russian high rate of fire 14.5 millimeter ZSUs and AAA of all calibers from barrels loaded to treetop level. Flak from the left, flak in front of them, flak from the right. Deadly, intense, and continuous fire. Russian guns thundered, and steeds and heroes fell. 6 F-105s mortally wounded in less than 2 minutes. Warriors dead, warriors dying, and warriors imprisoned. They who had fought so well. One of my most vivid memories was looking at the target area as we approached at 100 feet. The area was nothing but smoke and a wall of ground fire. Jack Redmond, number 4 in a flight from Tak Lee, Thailand. Parachutes in the air, 105s burning and dying, napalm cans on the way, CBU exploding, and Russian flak answering back. What really sticks in my memory is the smell of gun smoke. I have never smelled it that strong before or after. Frank Tullow, shot down and recovered in the target area. And as quickly as it all began, it was suddenly over. Once again, hot, hazy, but now with traces of black smoke in the calm air and disarmingly quiet. I was so moved by this piece. I still get chills as I read it. But Colonel Morrissey then went on to add context to his piece. And he offers, history repeats. 111 years earlier in the Ukraine, Russian guns thundered, and steel and heroes fell. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the light brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the light brigade, was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew, someone had blundered. There's not to make reply, there's not to reason why, there's but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them. Volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell. Boldly they rode and well. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell, rode the 600. Flashed all their sabers bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabering the gunners there, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged in the battery's smoke right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the saber stroke. Shattered and sundered, they rode back, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. That they had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made. All the world wondered. Honor the charge they made. Honored the light brigade, the noble 600. The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson, memorializing events in the Battle of Balaclava, October 25th, 1854, written 1864. And with this, it gives me a deep appreciation of how those 46 flew their thuds into their valley of death. And I just have so much respect for them, and I so appreciate Colonel Morrissey for entrusting me with this piece he wrote. Respect, sir. Bobo, bass gear, stop.